DOE Formula V's making their way back out onto the circuit once again for race number 2 of 3. And as we saw after race number 1, an amazing effort being put in by these drivers to put on a show of note. Let's catch up with a couple of them now down in their pre-race press conference.
Well, next up on the program, the DOE Formula V's. Greg Wilson, you can put your phone away if you like. But let's start off with Greg. Greg PE, exciting track for you guys, always good racing here.
Yeah, for me it's been a long time since I've been at the track. I think last time I was a rookie, probably 10 years ago. So yeah, I've got to learn the track. But we've already done our warm-up, and yeah, it looks super fun.
Lucian, moving on to you. Do you like PE?
Yeah, seems to like the track. It's quite fast. Seems to suit the characteristics of our car. Yeah, looking forward to a good weekend.
Lendl, what's the trick around your race tactics? Because I know it can come down to that last corner, slipstream down the straight, etc., etc.
Yeah, look, I think it depends on the wind and stuff like that. But yeah, look, my season hasn't got off to a great start, so I kind of need a good result to get things back on track. So hopefully this will be the weekend.
Good luck to you guys. Over to you, Greg.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, making their way around the track now for the second time. We've got 3 heats to do, so another one still to come at the end of the day. But Formula V's are on standby and are ready to go here for their second race. And if it's anything like the first one, we're in for another big one. These guys have held nothing back here the whole day. It's been absolutely brilliant stuff. And to see the race pace that they found, and of course the spectacle that they always put on here for the partisan crowd that are back here in the house. And it's a partisan crowd that have been entertained for the first half of the day's racing, there's no doubt about it. Every single class has not failed to deliver. They've brought in some of the best race action we've seen here for a long, long time in the city of Gqeberha at Aldo Scribante. Coming to the line now and going to take their positions. Lucian Ramchanda and Peter Hills in the front row. It's Brandon Hills and Gert van der Berg that make up the second row. Beg your pardon, Lendl Jansen and Lucian Ramchanda in the front row. Then the Hills boys on the second row. Gert van der Berg and Greg Wilson will be behind them. Sean van der Linde will be looking to try and stay with that first pack of 6. He just missed out on the gap there to allow him to get to the front end at the first time of asking. And that was our first race of the day at about 10:30 this morning. Let's see if he can maybe turn his luck around here for race number 2. Green flag at the back, which means we're good to go. Waiting for that red flag to just move to the right hand side, and we can then get racing underway for the second time here. DOE and Start My Car are joined now by a new sponsor, Universal Oil. Fantastic to have them on board, and I'm sure that they're pretty happy with the results so far of joining Formula V, the longest standing single-seater championship here in the Southern Hemisphere, and one of the longest standing in the world as well, as we head down towards turn 1. Ramchanda with an amazing start. And problems there for Lendl Jansen. Lendl Jansen, the pole man, has dropped right to the back of the field. Looks like he's got a gearbox full of nothing and can't get drive whatsoever. Brandon Hills goes into second place with Peter tucking in behind him. And then it's Gert van der Berg side by side there by the looks of things as they came out of turn number 1, and he was side by side with the second of those Start My Car machines, Greg Wilson. Greg Wilson just squeezing through there and getting into the mix right from the word go. So the steam train heads up towards turn number 5 for the first time now, and under braking, Ramchanda leads out. Hills and Hills are second and third. Then you got Wilson from Van den Berg as they come in there. Nice start as well coming out of Theo van Mark. Much better start there from Theo. He's made his way up into possibly just inside the top 10. He's got the 911 car there of Josef Kotzer just ahead of him. And he's, of course, fighting with the back end of Sean van der Linde and Carl Watt in that mix as well. Watt in the all-grey car. Here for Mark. That's the yellow and red machine squeezing out of Dunlop corner and onto the main straight to complete lap 1 of 10. Ramchanda is the man to beat, and nice run there from a standing start from Ramchanda to lead out over Brandon Hills. Brandon Hills trying to go around the outside of him into turn 1. Has he got enough? Yes, he has. And Peter's going with him. Peter Hills and Brandon Hills around the outside of turn 1. Can they make it stick so that they demote the what was leader, Lucian Ramchanda, to third? They can. Brandon Hills finding some spectacular grip on the outside of turn 1, and Peter followed him. And the two Hills boys now are 1 and 2. So son and father ahead there of Lucian Ramchanda, ex-champion in this category, of course, and now up into third place after being demoted down dramatically there into turn 1 by both of the Hills boys around the outside. You don't expect to find grip on the outside of turn 1, but both of them did. And they're now 1 and 2 on track as they come out of Chevy Sweep. Third place Ramchanda, already and instantly under pressure from Greg Wilson. Wilson looking to try and pounce and catch the man off guard there, if he can. And Van den Berg leads a little bit of a gap now to Sean van der Linde, who's also got a gap down to the second pack of cars there, led out at this point by Josef Kotze. Kotze from Watt from Vermaak. Marcel Buchnout on his own, down in the background. Oh, that is superb stuff. Thank you very much. Volkswagen supplying us some lunch as well as the sponsorship of the race day. Thanks, Des. Formula V is on track at this point in time, and look how hard they are pushing to stay ahead of this pack of Formula V's. Is not always an easy thing to do, and Brandon Hills now trying to show us why he was quickest this morning in qualifying and why he had the fastest lap time of the race weekend. Can he go even quicker? His lap in qualifying got him down to a 107.9. He's currently lapping in a 108.5, so he's about 6/10 off there to try and get to what he got in qualifying. And let's see if we can keep it all together now as they come flying through out of the hairpin and down towards Chevy Sweep. Nicely done. Absolutely awesome stuff as they come through there. The two Hills boys now starting to work together to get away. In fact, Peter Hills applying a bit more pressure onto Brandon as they come into Dunlop. These cars, of course, are shod with Bridgestone tyres, and they're going to be starting to feel the grip come into its own now on lap 3. The tyres are now up to temperature. The grip is up to optimum performance, and there's why we're seeing a move here from Peter Hills. Hills dives on the inside of Brandon and takes the lead. Great drive, a little bit of slipstream down the straight, and a change up there for the lead. Change up for the order of how the Hills run here. Peter over Brandon. Brandon over Ramchanda. Ramchanda at this stage has got Wilson behind him and Gert van der Berg looking to pounce. So almost everybody except for Lennel Janssen in the main pack are back there again in race 2. Lennel Janssen unfortunately didn't quite work out for him. He got off the line and something must have broken on that car because he has not got going at all. And Janssen's going to be concerned about that. He had great pace and of course came through for a victory in race number 1. A comfortable one at that. They come into the final corner again to complete another lap in action. And it's action aplenty and more about to start kicking off here. Van den Berg and Wilson trying to close that gap down on the back end of Ramchanda. It looks like Josef Kotze is starting to close onto the back end of Van der Linde too. There it is, that second pack down the main straightaway. Kotze from Carl Watt. Watt from Theo Vermaak. Theo Vermaak now slowly but surely closing onto the back end of Watt. So 4 cars fighting for what is now going to be 7th to 10th place. Van der Linde is in the 6th spot at the moment, but he's about to be caught by Josef Kotze. Ramchanda looking to try and bridge that gap again to close down on the back end of Brandon. Wilson is, well, he's chopped up there, change between Wilson and Van den Berg. Van den Berg now is the 4 car. Wilson down to 5. Carl Watt once by on Josef Kotze, but Kotze at this stage is just bringing that 2-car train along to the back end of Sean van der Linde. Here for Mark with good lines into the final corner. Here they come across the line. Another lap completed now, halfway stage. 5 done, 5 to go. Brandon Hills now trying to return the favour on Peter. Peter, multiple champion in this category, and of course one of the longest standing members of this Formula V association. Came out of motocross as his original format of motorsport he got involved in, and has now been a a seasoned campaigner and almost a veteran in this category. Ramchundra behind that, a former champion, knows what to do to try and get to the front end of a field. Wilson has won a couple of championships. So has Van den Berg. He's gone back-to-back for the last 2 seasons. So we've got a battle of champions at the front end there. And a battle of future champions as well. If you take into account Brandon Hills. Oh, somebody off in the background. Was that for Mark? Yes, it was. Fear for Mark going off. Pulling a bit of rubble and some dirty bits onto the circuit there. Coming out and looking for a chance now to change things up there. As they come onto the main straightaway is Lucian Ramchundra. Ramchundra seems fired up now. Let's see what his lap time's like. 107.9. Yeah, fastest of the top 3. I thought he was looking a little bit quicker. A little bit more determined, but look at the determination coming out of Van den Berg. Van den Berg got the slipstream, but he just can't get on the inside of the Liqui car. So that Liqui car of Lucian Ramchundra just hangs on for third. But he was under big threat there going into turn 1 from Gert Van den Berg in the Start My Car and DOE car. Flying through hangar. Just chatted to Andre Besaidenote in between on the lunch break, talking about the incident he had in Global Touring Cars where he went off on the exit point of hangar there. It's unbelievable stuff to see how he managed to get back on track, but he just survived that. Greg Wilson's losing touch ever so slightly. There's a bit of debris on the circuit there that was brought on by Theo for Mark when he came back on track, and a couple of guys have hit that. I'm not quite sure what it was. Looks like a bit of bodywork from one of the cars. Hills hanging on now for the start of 3 to go. 3 laps to go now for Peter Hills, Brandon Hills and Ramchundra. Van den Berg, right behind him, Greg Wilson. Josef Kotzer has definitely closed on the back end there. You can see just in the background of Sean van der Linde. So 6 places still up for grabs as well. Never mind just for the lead of this race. Coming through the Schaeffler S's, Hills 1 and 2. Peter from Brandon. Brandon at this stage looking to try and pounce back at his dad. As they fly through the right-hander up towards turn 5. Hairpin time, late braking time. No one has a chance to have a go here. Little squeeze to the right there from Ramchundra as they came up under the final part of the braking. Ramchundra definitely trying to show his intentions. Maybe force a mistake out of Brandon. Good run here from Brandon. He's looking to try and get onto the straight and get into the slipstream if he can. Here we go. Is he close enough? He's got to be right underneath that gearbox of Peter in front of him. He's in there. He pulls out to try and use that slipstream effect. Can he get past? No, he can't. Peter Hills running along the wall, trying to avoid the wind blowing across these cars. And it's line astern. And resume the positions. No changes there between these 5. With 2 to go. One more to go by the time they get to the top. 1.5, as I said. Possibly still coming up to pass and lap Aldo again. We'll wait and see if that's the case. But with a lap and a half to go, I think Aldo might be caught in pasture yet again in race 2 by the lead pack. Up into Dunlop for the penultimate time. About to start their final lap. Lucian Ramchundra is going to try everything he knows now. He's thinking, come on, can something just not go right for me this time out? Peter under attack from Brandon. Brandon around the outside though. The long way around turn 1. He was able to get past on Ramchundra, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that on Peter. Peter Hills now coming up on that back marker. Maybe he's going to use the back marker to his advantage. Brandon waiting to pounce until that back marker comes into play. So it's Hills and Hills versus the back marker. Oh! Brandon Hills with a massive moment. Came up on the back of the back marker, tried to take an evasive action, and he spun out. Ramchundra moves up into 2nd place. Van den Berg is now into 3rd, and he's looking to attack on Ramchundra. Brandon Hills with a big moment. Went to try and get past the back marker, and there was no room. And he spun out all on his own. He's got back on track, fortunately, but he's lost out a huge amount of advantage here and a possibility of a podium. Peter Hills is going to come through for race number 2. Victory goes towards the Mangaza Racing Team, and he takes the win. Ramchanda in second place for Liqui Mali, and it's Gert van der Berg who takes the 3rd spot there, beating out Greg Wilson, his stablemate. Oh, Brandon Hills will be destroyed by that. Finishes up in 5th place, just ahead of Sean van der Linde, Yusuf Kotze, Carl Watt and Theo Vermaak. And we're waiting in the background there for Marcel Bluchnout to come and make up the top 10, but there he comes. And as he crosses the line, there you can see top 10 honours. Hills from Ramchanda, Van der Berg and Wilson. Brandon Hills will be kicking himself. They're in 5. Van der Linde 6, 7 is Kotze. And it's Carl Watt, Vermaak and Marcel Bluchnout ahead of Ernie Vermaak, Roy Douglas and Dave Austin, with Helder Gavea going 1 lap down and being lapped. So that's how we finish up our second heat of the DOE Formula Vs. It's always awesome race action that we get out of them, as you saw. Next up, here we have a little look as our little replay camera gives us Brandon Hills spinning out, catching the car and coming back on track. Unfortunately, though, it demoted him down to 5th place after looking like it could be up Hills 1 and 2.